Hello everyone, me Speed here in a Battlefield Heroes video. Today I'm going to be finishing up the tier lists on the weapons in the game, left Commando for last obviously. And I just want to quickly say at the start here, this will be the last video I'm going to do on this laptop. Obviously I said last time, having issues with it and stuff. That hasn't, got any better. It's probably stayed the same, maybe got a bit worse, but yeah, so I'm going to fix that. I'm going to make sure I get something new for next time. So yeah, I'll be able to do like proper gameplay again, which will be nice. Again, it's going to be difficult to think of what to do, ideas and stuff. Again, throwing that out to you guys, but I will obviously, work to get ideas and make things interesting because it can be difficult. Like I say, it's just hard to get the ideas and stuff flowing. So, all right, so. Obviously, you can see here there's still quite a lot of weapons for Commando. I want to say as well, I don't really like Commando that much compared to the other two classes. I still enjoy it from time to time, but it really depends on what weapons are involved, because there's a lot of Commando weapons that I just wouldn't use and just wouldn't like and play with. So yeah, and you may see a trend, but yeah. So let's start out with the slow sniper rifle. Definitely one of the best weapons for Commando, especially with piercing shot, but I mean even like without it, the base damage is pretty high on headshots and just, anywhere else. Really reliable weapon, decent ammo count. Yeah, and if you're, accurate enough, you can sort of take your time with it and get some good damage output. On the flip side, another sniper rifle, the default one, I've got to put that at the bottom, not worth using, just because the damage isn't good at all. The damage, in comparison to the slow one, is pretty insane. Like it's so much weaker, and yeah, I'm not really a fan of the fire rate either. I don't think it's that much of an increase, that much of an upgrade. So yeah, not surprised that I'm putting a default weapon quite low, but you can still make it work with piercing shot. It's just a lot of the other snipers are going to do more damage with piercing shot and are going to be less reliant on it. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Another thing I'm not a fan of, this is basically the default knife. You can see here I've put like different knives on here. That's because the default knife is actually worse in damage output than the others. It's, yeah, just pretty weak overall. Always thought that, always has been. Yeah, and I'm not a fan of using knives anyway, to be completely honest. It's not something that I like to do. Sometimes it can be kind of interesting depending on the map and other things, but yeah, generally I just kind of find it, I just find it a bit annoying sometimes to play like that. Alright, so the fast pistol, close range pistol, definitely going to put that in very good. In the past, obviously with Soldier, I didn't rank it very high at all, but you can make it work on Commando. Obviously, you've got the virtue of going invisible, you can go in stealth, you can sort of like, sneak up on someone, line up a shot, and get the burst damage in pretty quickly. It's easier to sort of get into the range as a Commando compared to a Soldier, for example. And yeah, I like this weapon a lot. I have used it quite a bit, and it's pretty deadly if you use two of them as well, but it's not always that necessary. But yeah, you can get some pretty good damage. You do have to get obviously very close point blank, which as a Commando that's kind of difficult, but I do prefer using this pistol over using a knife, for example. And joining that, it's got to be the long range pistol. Obviously, goes without saying, I've always praised this weapon, and it's definitely the best weapon. One of the best weapons in the game, and yeah, it doesn't matter what class has the long range pistol, it's always going to do well. It's always going to be a great weapon. So yeah, you can obviously pair that with a sniper rifle, or to be honest, most of the weapons the Commando can use, you can put a long range pistol with it and it's actually going to work. Obviously dual pistols is nice. You can use a pistol with a knife. There's just a lot of options basically, and it's always a reliable weapon. Something that's not reliable, TNT. Yep. Again, once again, TNT at the very bottom. I think I said, like, some classes have, I guess a better chance than others with certain explosives and stuff. I mean, with TNT, I still feel like it's too poor, honestly. I think it's, yeah, again, you could say you have stealth, you have, the fastest, like, base movement speed and stuff, but, like, I still don't like TNT. I mean, thinking back to, like, the very early days of the game, before like the grenade launcher, you could use TNT to get higher up onto houses and then snipe from a decent I guess spot. But yeah, obviously now that's kind of outdated. That's not really a tactic that's used too much with the TNT specifically, and yeah, I'm just not a fan of it. All right, the super knife. So that might surprise a few people. I'm going to put it pretty high. If I am going to take a knife at all, I'm going to pick the super knife. Pretty good damage actually. Obviously, you know, if you stab someone from behind, more damage, and you can actually get some surprisingly good numbers with it. But it's not too consistent. But yeah, like I say, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of knives anyway, so I'm probably going to put most of them down. But like, yeah, if I am going to bring one, it's going to be this one over anything else. The damage is just the best overall compared to all the other options, I believe. And yeah, just had the most, I guess, time and experience using that one over the other options in that category. So yeah. All right, so grenade launcher, very good, definitely. When this weapon came out in 2011, it basically gave the Commando quite a boost, because previously you didn't really have that much of a chance against, you know, tanks. A lot of just extra damage, you know, extra support, you know, crowd control, stuff like that. Pretty good backup option. And yeah, I mean, most commandos are going to run this. It's very rare to see someone using TNT again, unless they just don't know what's going on with it. So yeah, but really strong weapon. Again, like I was saying about using TNT to get high up, you can do that with the grenade launcher. It's a lot easier, it's a lot more reliable. You can also use it to, instead of getting up onto a high place to stay there, you can just go up in the air and then just like snipe and then just sort of like parachute down. There's another option, but yeah, generally I just think it's a great backup weapon. Can get you out of some potential, you know, tough situations, or it's just extra damage that the Commando may need in like certain close situations, close range and stuff like that. Okay, the Tech 9, I was debating where to put this, because I mean, I was thinking maybe in the middle, but I thought about it some more and I thought, yeah, it's probably going to be not worth using for me, just because, like, I do remember as well, when I was doing a video series on what I thought was the best and the worst weapons, you know, of each like type and stuff, I did put that in the video for the worst pistol, I believe. I don't know if I fully still stand by that, but yeah, it isn't too great. I do prefer it's kind of similar in a way to the fast pistol. It's kind of similar approach, and you might think that's a big jump from the two there, but I don't know, I still prefer the fast pistol over it. And yeah, I think maybe I'm still kind of unsure whether I want to put it one tier above, but yeah, basically the damage just isn't too consistent. You can get some decent crits with it, and I think I've mentioned this in the past as well, but like in the original game you could only use the one, but obviously I believe now there's like the opportunity to use a second one. And with that, it's not too bad, because like you can run out of ammo on the one pretty quickly and then just switch to maybe get the full damage output and maybe finish someone off. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's probably too worth it. All right, the Katana. This is going to be another awkward one, because I've said in the past, like, and I never really checked this like properly, to be fair, but the Katana, the machete, stuff like that, I was under the impression that they got changed for the better. So, you know, basically in the past, the whole thing was the damage wasn't too good, too consistent, and because of like the way that you would swing it and the strike itself, you'd basically have to be a set distance apart from the enemy instead of like literally getting as close as possible. It wasn't as simple as that, and I don't know, I'm led to believe they sort of did something about it some years ago to make them better, but I haven't actually used them since, so I can't really make too fair of a judgment. But like I say, I'm still going to stick to what I know with the knives if I'm even going to pick them, and that's going to be the super knife. So yeah, I think the Katana, again, you know, maybe I've missed something. Maybe someone who's watching this has used it more recently. Like I say, I haven't used the weapon for a very long time, so it might be good. It might be worth putting in the middle tier. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm just going off of what I remember, and yeah, I've just never really been a fan of it. Like I say, probably going to pick the super knife. Okay, the anti-tank rifle. Finally going to put something in the middle for sure. This is a great weapon. really good damage against infantry. Obviously, tanks as well. It's incredible to damage a tank with that sort of pinpoint accuracy and from range as well is pretty insane to do that. Especially as a commando, like to be able to do that, it's pretty impressive. It's like the quickest way to damage a tank from range, more or less. Because I mean the gunner's not going to get a shot off from that far too quickly and stuff like that. But the reason I'm going to put it in just in the middle is because of the ammo count. Obviously, in the old game with the workbench and stuff, you could get extra ammo on it. I believe like one extra shot. There might have been a time where you could have had 3 extra shots. Sorry, 3 total. And yeah, you can dual wield them. Obviously, you can use 2, but I don't know. I still think the ammo count is just too big of a problem for me, and I would just take the slow sniper rifle over it. But it can be a lot of fun to use. Obviously, if you can, shoot a tank just before it's done and someone's about to get out, you can just blow it up in time. It's pretty nice, pretty satisfying. But yeah, overall, I think as well there's problems with like reload bugs and stuff. But again, it's not really too fair to criticize on that. But yeah, I do like it, but I'm not going to put it at the very top. Alright, so the blow lamp, this is quite a fun weapon to use. That's the main reason I'm putting it in the middle here. I think generally some people would think it's not worth it to take that over the grenade launcher, because obviously it's going to take up an explosive slot. But yeah, it can be a lot of fun to use. It's obviously purely close range, really good against vehicles. Obviously jeeps are the main thing that it was brought out for, but generally like the damage against a lot of vehicles is pretty good. From memory, and again, like quite easy for a commando to get into a spot where you can just sneak up to someone who's maybe just about to take off in a plane or something, or who's about to drive off in a jeep, and just quickly do good damage, maybe even destroy it, very, very fast, because the damage does rack up, especially against vehicles, like I said. But yeah, not too top tier in terms of damage against infantry. It can still surprise people sometimes, and it's, I guess, a last ditch effort if you don't have, too many good close range options. Say if you're running like 2 long range weapons, and then you've got the blow lamp. It's actually not bad, in that situation, but that's kind of like a desperation thing, I feel. And overall, yeah, still a bit of a gimmicky thing, you could say, but I do find it quite fun to use, and like I say, the damage isn't bad against vehicles for sure, so it's got to be in the middle for me. Alright, so the moderate range pistol, obviously I wasn't a fan of this on Soldier. It's a bit better. It's definitely a bit better on Commando. Again, I'm gonna repeat myself a lot. Like the element of surprise is a big deal here. Just doing that can definitely help with it. But yeah, these pistols are pretty good now. Like ever since there was like a certain change to them in the old game, definitely a lot better, a lot more on the higher scale for damage and for tiers, definitely. But yeah, I don't know. I still feel like I'd probably prefer to go short range pistol, long range pistol, or mix it up a bit. But you can definitely include it in a lot of setups for sure. And there are moments where I would feel like using that at times. So yeah, obviously it's all about the range that you're in. But I do still feel like the other 2 pistols are superior for me personally. Okay, the fast sniper rifle, very broken weapon, especially if we're talking about with piercing shot. You can basically kill someone like within a second, half a second, whatever. It's very quick. Like you can kill someone without them even sort of realizing it at first glance what's going on, because it's just that broken. The fire rate is stupid. The damage of piercing shot, obviously your headshots, 2-shotting people, 3-shotting people, whatever. It's crazy. I mean, if you're not talking about abilities and stuff with without piercing shot, damage isn't great. I mean, the fire rate is still something to talk about, but yeah, if you're not really landing consistent headshots, if you're just getting like body shots and you're not using piercing shot, the damage is pretty weak actually. But if we're including like all of the factors here, yeah, this is a weapon that is very broken, and a lot of people have banned it on their servers in the past because it's just so easy to just immediately drop someone and just complete complete confusion on their end and utter chaos. So yeah. All right, the bending bone. I was kind of debating whether to include this because yeah, I believe that got changed recently as well, or at some point. But yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest weapon to use. I think they did sort of make it a bit quicker in the fire rate, but memory again on this is pretty slow weapon compared to the others, like because it's meant to be like a slow firing one, but I still felt the regular slow rifles better, like the SVD M95 stuff like that. Yeah, and just awkward in terms of the aiming as well. Just the way that you aim with it and the crosshair and everything's different, and I believe like the way the thing travels as well. I just think it's kind of difficult to use it, and like I say, there may have been like more changes to it that I'm not aware of, but generally I just think why bother? Just use the basic slow one and another one that I'm going to bring up soon. All right, so the Frostbite, the snow or ice rifle, sniper rifle. That's basically like a reskin. It's a reskin of the default one, like the Uber Super default one. But I'm putting it higher because it's got a special effect, which is basically like for every shot that you land on someone, it slows them down, which is actually pretty insane because obviously if someone's slowed, they're just going to be an easier target, right? So, and it will also cancel out abilities that have like movement to them, like extra like movement. So Leggett, if you hit someone who has Leggett active, it's going to stop that. Same with Elixir. Yeah, so it's a very easy sniper rifle to use, especially like because you land the first few shots and someone's just going to be so much easier to hit. But I'm not going to put it any higher just because the damage is still mediocre. It's mostly again a gimmicky thing. It's nice to slow people down, obviously, and it will help. Also help the team out a bit as well, to be honest. Make someone easier to hit and stuff. But yeah, in terms of damage, it's still not really impressive at all. But just based on the fact that you can slow people down, I've got to put it higher, obviously, than the default one. Okay, so the hyperdrive rifle, I believe. Yeah, this is an interesting one because I was just talking about the bending bone and changes and stuff. This one, the damage is the same as the M95 that I've put at the top there, the slow rifle. But the thing is, like, a change that happened, I don't know, a few years ago or whatever, was basically like, because this weapon in the old game, you had like an over-the-shoulder view to actually aim with it. But now it's like more of a first-person view, and it's got this little like dot crosshair. And this one is just really easy to aim with. It's really easy to land hits with. Yeah, so that's why it's top tier. Obviously, the damage as well. But yeah, you could probably say it's the easiest sniper in the game to land hits with, to aim with. But the drawback to that stuff is it's got like pretty low ammo count. But again, I still think those other factors sort of put it at the top for me. But yeah, it's got like 5 ammo or something like that. So if you are missing, if you're somehow missing multiple shots with it, or you're just getting like a bad connection or whatever, it's going to be kind of annoying because you haven't really got too many shots to work with. But yeah, I think the reload isn't bad either, to be fair. So that's that. Okay, the repeater rifle. Again, this is something that I haven't really used a whole lot on Commando, but yeah, from memory, it's just kind of average. Damage isn't bad. But again, it's just kind of in the middle for me. It's not something that I would use too often. I wouldn't go out my way to use it, but I definitely wouldn't say it's in like the unplayable / too awful tier. But yeah, again, to me, a bit of a forgettable weapon. You don't see too many people using it, especially because of certain like other weapons that have been added in that may do something better or similar. But yeah, just kind of basic and in the middle for me with this one. Alright, so the closed beta pistol, this is a fast pistol, but it's not a burst one. It's actually like a single shot semi-auto one, and I do actually quite like it. I do quite like using it actually on Commando, and again, easier to use, more effective when you have the elements of the Commando at play, but I still would prefer the burst fire one. I think it's better overall, more damage, and kind of probably easier or just quicker to get the damage out there. For me, like, it's still a cool weapon. I'm glad that it's usable again. It's pretty nice to be able to use it. because I obviously didn't play the closed beta or anything, and a lot of people didn't, or didn't even use it if they could. But yeah, so just okay for me. Pirate pistol again, okay tier. I think like generally, I can't really be too harsh about it. All the classes can use it, obviously. I don't think there was a time across these videos where I put it at the bottom. I think it was like in the middle for the most part across all of them. I think that's fair. Obviously, you know, if it was as accurate and as strong as it was at the start all those years ago, then definitely very good, top tier. But now for me, it's kind of just a bit basic. There's other weapons that do a similar thing, or there's times where you think, well, did I really need to give up a weapon slot just for a one-shot pistol? Got to reload, and the damage wasn't even too good to begin with. It's up for debate, but it can be pretty nice to use with a knife, for example. Say if you're like, you know, you're stalking someone, and you literally, it's quite easy, right, to line up a shot if you're pretty close and they're not aware of you, headshot, and then switch to your knife, and it's actually a decent combo. But again, like, I don't really see myself using the pirate pistol too much nowadays, but it's always been a solid weapon, and I think it's worth being in the middle tier at least. Okay, the DDay Rifle. I'm kind of debating whether it should be higher, to be honest, but yeah, this is kind of like a pirate pistol style approach in a way, with like pretty high damage, but this also has like more ammo, and the headshot damage is pretty devastating. But overall, I just wouldn't really use it too much. I think if you can try it out and you can land the headshots well, or you can just get into a groove with it, it's pretty good. But yeah, I'd probably say I prefer it more on Soldier. Okay, so this one, I actually can't remember the name of it. It's kind of like the M1 Garand thing, another custom one, but that's very good for me. I've used it quite a lot. It's very accurate, good rate of fire. Yeah, kind of, I don't know, if it's weird to sort of class it somewhere. I think it's kind of a combination of like the long range pistol and the moderate range one in terms of like effectiveness and damage. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'd put it, definitely. Definitely one I've had a lot of success with, and has kind of surprised me with the power. So yeah. Alright, so that's all the weapons, guys. I know a few people were asking last time for more tiers. Obviously didn't do that today. I'll do that when I return to tier lists. Obviously I haven't really finished everything I could do. Again, if you play Commando a lot more than me, which most people probably do, yeah, let me know what you thought of these and where I put them. And yeah, like I say, I will definitely aim to get a new laptop for next time. That is something I want to do, and I can go back to gameplay again, which would be nice. Again, obviously, it's kind of different. It's kind of difficult because things are different now in regards to where the game's at, popularity, you know, lack of updates, all that sort of stuff. You know, it was a lot easier. Things were different when the game first came back. It was a lot easier for me to make videos and just cover stuff, but when there's an old game and there's not really much going on with it, it's very difficult to, you know, dig deep and get some fresh ideas going. But I'll see what I can do. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.